good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm your humble host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. And today is now Wednesday, September the 7th, 1941. Uh, no, a day that will live in infamy. Cherry and Roman, good morning, good morning, good morning. Elderberry, hey, King Masabi, right back at you. And so, um, I was talking with Barry earlier today on the phone and trying to explain the reason for some of my absence. I was getting ready to do a live stream the other night, Sunday night, and the lights went out in the whole area down here in Colquitt County. It was so dark. I mean, there wasn't a street lamp for miles. The lights were out for almost for over an hour, and it was right at 11:30, 12 o'clock, quarter till something like that. Anyway, and I was sitting here about ready to do a it's only 11:24 here. Yeah. Um Actually, because I don't set my clocks ahead of time, my time is the same as yours, Terry. How are you? Haven't seen y'all in a while. I know I haven't been on. Hey, Michelle, how are you? So to just kind of get the get the party started, I got me a 420 sitting here, and I missed it by a little bit, but we're close to a 20. It's 6:25 here. Aha! You got to go to work soon. So I've been waiting on this one. So for you lovely people, I went to the doctor. It's now yesterday, but on Tuesday, and I got my blood reports in, and one other test result too. And so I am proud to announce that where some of these folks were kind of getting on to me about, well, it must be your diet that you've had this, that you've developed this heart condition, and it must be your cholesterol, and it must be well, guess what? The numbers are in, and it ain't my cholesterol, it ain't my LDLs or the HDLs or the whoever else is there. And the doctor looked at me, and he's a young kid, especially compared to me. And he's like, whatever you're doing, he said, it ain't your diet because everything's my cholesterol and everything is like, dun, 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 it's like great. So, also in checking with certain things for conditions for my kidneys and so forth, which while I was in the hospital was showing that I was having issues with my kidneys and pre-kidney trouble and some anyway. And I found out that it is absolutely due to my overusage, hey Chloe, of ibuprofen. So I'm telling y'all now, from my own blood workup and watching, and the blood workup at the hospital and sense and whatever, that my levels, for my kidneys and so forth, are absolutely a result of my overusage of ibuprofen. So it was my choice. It was my choice of when I got off of pain pills, but it was Obviously, that it has showed up in my kidneys at almost age 70 now. I'm closing in. It's the 24th of this month now, y'all. So I still got white junk coming out my lungs. Sorry, I got to spit up every once in a while. Sorry about that. But my blood pressure has come down. It has been being more consistent. It's in the 120, 130 range, and has been staying there. I've been monitoring myself and writing it down on a daily basis so that me and the doctor can exchange, here, this is what's been happening on what days and so forth. I've got about 8 days left for my heart monitor, which hasn't gone off or gone freaky or nothing. So, but I have three more tests this month to check pulmonary and breathing and lung capacity type things. Nothing invasive. My CT scan of my head came back with no ghost images or anything, which is a really good thing because my first wife died 3 weeks ago um, of an aneurysm that took out her whole right side with a tsunami, and and it killed her. So and I have some other friends who are in that same area. So the fact that nothing showed up on my CT scan of the head is like, that's all positive news. So I still have pressure and stuff over my left eye, but we're going to work on that one. But it's when all the test results and everything came back, they drew more blood today. They're going to check on cancer cells and other types of things. The ones that they did the last time were basically for cholesterol and but to the point though, at I'm almost 70 now. You've heard me complain and joke about it, but for my age, under the circumstances, even with the 20% loss of my heart, I'm in pretty damn good shape. Now that I don't feel that enthusiastic and wanting to go outside and run around and jump around, I have a lot of fatigue, which I'm just going to have to work on myself. But in a lot of ways, it's a miracle because I decided to lose weight when I did. I was talking about it at the end of Robert's show, that I used to weigh 250 pounds and now I weigh 180 on the nose, you know, and it stayed that way now for the last 3 weeks. So I'm not gaining or losing any weight. It's right there. I'd like it to be a little less than that, but so my dietary plan and what I consume on a daily basis, and the fact that I don't overeat, but I eat what I damn well want to when I want to, if that's the case. But I've learned over the years that, once a month for a big chocolate pie or something is not going to kill me. And obviously, it hasn't showed up in my cholesterol. So it has taught me a lot of things here in seeing how these test results have come back because there are certain things like you just don't know whether or not your eating habits have actually done you well. Now, what's that got to do with ego and honor? It has a lot to do with it because ego says, well, I eat what I damn well want to, or maybe I shouldn't, or I don't have, or to honor my own body, I'm gonna, eat me some chocolate pie, you know, or I'm not gonna eat some chocolate pie. There is both ways to look at how we eat chocolate pie, and for whatever the reason, right? Ton of cornbread. Uh oh. Y'all talking about food? to start the human organism. D3K magnesium. Yep. Niacin. Yep. Hey Richard, how are you? Yep, I got it. I just got my doctor's report in today. I went in and they he read me my rules and regs, and so I was asking him about, okay, so because my blood pressure has stabilized so well in this last month from being in the hospital. Now I'm taking a crap load of medicines, right? But I've split them up through the day so that some of them are twice a day. So I take them about 10 o'clock in the morning and then about 10 o'clock at night. So I spread them out. I've had, hey, Susie Q, how are you? And there are one I take at bedtime. So I've got one left this evening. But before I went on the show with Robert this evening, I took my 10 o'clock meds. And it has not made, it has helped to separate some of the stomach discomfort thingy, whatever, and it spread them out for me. So I'm working out a plan, and that seems to be working for me. So up to this point, I don't like taking all this medicine, but if it's keeping my heart and my blood pressure and everything the way it is, and the way my test results and my blood work came back today, I am not going to argue with this. You know, well, I'm taking 10 pills now a day, 10 different medications, and some of them twice a day. And I don't like taking this stuff, okay? But in order to honor myself, and well, do I just want to, quit taking the doctor's advice? And should I not trust them? Should I not believe in these folks who did all these tests and who are genuinely concerned for my well being? This young doctor that I have, Dr. McBrayer, a very nice young man and very thorough. And it seems like he knows what he's talking about. He's not umming and hawing and this and that. And I'm like, he's knowledgeable, and very caring and understanding. And we went down through our stuff. So, should I not trust these people? Well, I'm in better shape than I was a month ago when I was coughing and hacking and having a show enough heart attack. Um, so, if I want to honor myself and my own spirit, I, I've been in this transition state. So, do I take all this stuff that is not normal for my body? When here I am at my latter stages of my shaman journey, I'm trying to kick the habit of having a lot of different chemicals or whatever in my body and my system. So now I've had a heart attack, which has changed things considerably. I have all these medications now. Do I honor myself in my spirit journey by following this medical treatment that I'm on at the moment? And part of me says, I don't want to take all this shit. I do not want to take all these medicines. The idea that I have to plan my day around how I take these meds, not that it's a big deal, but to the point that, oh, you got to take them or, your blood pressure will go back up. And we know what that does. You'll have an AFib and your heart's going to flutter and you could die. Hmm. That dying thing is like right there. I lost my first wife to heart trouble and issues and so forth. My brother is in the hospital right now with a heart condition, and he's overeaten and obesity. And, you know, he's had the opportunity to do better in his life, but his mental condition and so forth, and he's had some serious blood um, infection. There you go. And so he's in a hospital down um, in Ocala as we speak, and doing better, but still, he's way overweight. He has diabetes. He's got all these other issues that I decided to avoid. But that's to honor myself. Now, ego gets in the way where before my ego said, screw it, I'm not taking any of these medications. I'm going to do this on my own. And it led me into a heart attack because my blood pressure was so high. For those of you who don't know, it was, 200 and 258 over 186 or something. When I got to the hospital, it was like I was fixing to blow a fuse. So the fact that it's 120 over 76 with a 65 um, pulse rate, considering that was a month ago and considering where I'm at now, right? So ego has to take over. Ego has to say, listen, I want to live some more. My ego says, you better take these damn pills because you know where you were a month ago, right? Now, is that ego? I mean, does it fall under the category of ego? Well, in my particular example of this is yes, because my ego said many years ago, I ain't going to take these damn medications. I'm going to do all this naturally. I'm going to honor my spirit by not putting anything else in my body that don't need to be there. Things have changed. Okay. So now through my ego, I've had to change my ego because my ego says, I still don't want to take these meds. I don't want to take these pills. But if I want to honor myself and stay alive and keep my blood pressure down, I've got to make considerations. I have to make rearrangements. I have to make a reassess my lives. You understand what I'm saying? Now, this is just my current, situation, and I'm bringing you up to date as far as my health. And thank you all for your prayers and well wishes and messages and so forth. I love you all. I do, and I am still praying for y'all. But in this confusion, this last month of trying to figure out where the hell I am, the medicine makes me a little loopy at times, and I'm like, ooh, look at the colors, and ooh, and within a whole day's gone by. So it's absolutely a different set of circumstances that I'm living in right now, and trying to get the card that I drew tonight for Robert and for the show was Dolphin. And it seems like that card was very appropriate for me because it just come from the doctor and I've got a heart monitor. How's your breathing? Are you short of breath? Are you doing your, you know, and so the dolphin is the mana. And so there the energy of great spirit surrounds us at all times. All of the molecules, all of the air and everything. And I realized that, in the short time from pulling the card until now, it's interesting that the breath of, the breath of life, without breathing, there is no life. And so to honor the spirit, we need to breathe in the spirit, the great spirit, the energy of the universe. and understand how important it is for us to breathe and breathe with conviction and breathe with meditation. And it doesn't have to be some kind of special ceremony. You just say to yourself, I'm breathing in this energy of the universe. I'm breathing it in for my spirit to honor myself. I'm breathing in what the Great Spirit has created for me, for us, to breathe in this energy. And as I'm breathing it in, understand that the energy that I'm breathing in is energy to heal and keep me alive and to keep me generated. And it's physical, but it's also to feed the spirit because you're breathing in what Great Spirit has put around us. So I think it's very important and honorable to our spirits because if the body's not feeling good, the spirit sucks. I mean, it just does. So to stay grounded, so where does ego come in this? Ego says, well, I know what I'm doing. Well, do you really? Because I quit taking my blood pressure medicine because it made me feel wonky. And, I have almost took a dirt nap, which was not on my list of things that I've been wanting to do lately. Um, so it's like, wait a minute. So my ego got in the way, which was dishonorable to myself and to my own spirit. So when you don't take care of yourself and your ego, too egotistical. Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm going all on natural. I don't need no stinking, blood pressure medicine. I don't need no. I'm going to be okay. Heart attack. Well, maybe I should pay attention. Maybe there are things that to be honorable to myself, to thine own self be true. Now, the thing about honor, I've listened to a lot of, I love listening to stories and the stories about swords and knights of old and days were cold and, um, but the idea that honor of like the Knights Templar, for example, or, the honor among thieves. Well, maybe not so much that, but, being honorable to your family, being honorable to yourself, being honorable to your dog, to your four-legged, being honorable to what you believe in, and honor to our parents and honor to our elders and honor to the ancients and honor to the spirit world. Just going outside and going thank you to the universe, and that's honorable. So there's a lot of people that just pass it by. And what I mean is that, yeah, I'm honorable. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, but and they go, yeah, I say my prayers while I'm, before I sit down and eat, and yeah, okay, but it's a half-assed job at best. I mean, being Catholic, we had to, bless ourselves and bless us, Father, for, blah, blah, blah. And thank you for our food, and, and amen. Okie doke. But, it wasn't until I got away from the church and I got away from religion, but was getting into the spiritualness of eating the food, and the food, the sustenance we take in is honorable to that which gave its life. If it's a pig hog, or a turkey, or or chicken a la king, or whatever it is that you may be dining on, did you give thanks for the critter that gave it your meal? Um, you know, we will kill the old red rooster when she comes, when she's coming. But the idea that, are we giving honor to that which we eat? Do we give honor to the essence that it took? The fact that there is energy from the creator in whatever food we eat. Are we honorable in that? And it's like, well, why? Well, it makes a big difference. And it's proven to myself in that the way I've changed my eating habits over the years. I'm not 70 pounds overweight. Um, I eat when I'm hungry. Now I could still eat some more greens and vegetables and stuff, but if you were to somebody was to look at my dietary plan and go, wait a minute, you don't eat enough broccoli. Well, I can't eat broccoli because in some ways, because I don't have many teeth, and raw broccoli and all this other stuff, which is supposed to keep me healthy, I don't eat like I normally do or should. But the fact that, my blood work shows up that my eating habits are okay. Oh, hmm. So eating more broccoli is going to do what for me? Nothing. Eating more this is going to do what for me? Nothing. Because my blood work shows up okay. Now that's being a little egotistical at the moment, but I still, winter's coming on and it's time for greens. It's time to plant that fall garden right now, my friends. Um, and prepare for a winter garden, for planting. Well, down here they plant broccoli and stuff in the wintertime down here because it's cool. The amount of cabbage that they grow in Colquitt County is just amazing. At the tonnage, the millions of pounds of cabbage that's grown in Colquitt County every year. Amazing. It really is. Um, but to grow an acre or two of cabbage is like good business if the cabbage comes out right. But so the idea that um, you have to eat these things to make you healthy, not necessarily true, but watching your diet and being careful with it and honoring the body and thinking about the spirit, because I'm always thankful for the food that I eat. And my intensity when I say thank you for this food that I'm eating, I'm like in this holy thank you for this food and its sustenance for my body. And to some people, they would go, maybe you're overdoing it a little bit, Dave. But my blood workup shows differently. Maybe it's a good thing that you honor that which you eat and honor where it came from and honor the people who got it to the street, got it on your shelf. Thank you to the milkman who brought it to the store, who brought it on time so it doesn't spoil. Thank you to the folks that brought me fresh eggs the other day. Thank you, you know. So does it do any good? I I personally believe, because of my blood reports, that yes, the essence of all of the above absolutely helps to keep you healthy. I'm working on the heart thing, but as far as my blood work up and is there anything else wrong, the answer is no. And I'll be 70 in a couple of weeks. So is that good or bad? And in a way, I am bragging, but at the same time, I felt very humbled, very humbled. that there wasn't this freaking list of things wrong with me, that I'm going to die anytime soon. But that ain't what showed up. Yes, I have heart issues. Yes, I got to change some things, the way I've been doing things. And I do need to be a little more honorable to my body. Um, you know, don't smoke, quit smoking. And I have been doing my best to cut down, but no, I haven't quit smoking yet. I'm still coughing up white stuff. I've got a partial cigarette sitting over here I've been wanting to light for the last hour, and I haven't done it. So it's a mental game, and over ego. Well, I can smoke if I want to. Yeah, but to be honorable to the body, you go, no, you can't do that. You shouldn't be smoking. It's bad for your lungs. It's bad for your heart. Now, what are you going to do about this? So we carry this honor, or we should carry this honor, I should say. Hey, Joe, how are you? An old ass person. Hey, Niles, how are you? Well, I can't see you personally, but I see you in the room here. And hey, Joe, how are you? I don't mind, Joe. What are you going to be doing? You going to be doing a little soft shoe? If you're singing, we can't hear you. Okay, I'm just saying. So you can't interrupt us. How you doing, Joe? So I'm trying not to make this thing about myself, and the blood work and all, but I was damn surprised that things show. Hey, is B? I don't know if I said hi to you personally. Did your test come out? You were in for something the other day. Is B? Did everything turn out for you? I hope it did. But so anyway, I'm proud and humbled that, oh my God, there ain't anything else wrong with me up to this point. Yeah, I have, abused my lungs for the last 50 years plus. Um, but oh my God. So what can I do? As much as I want to, until my heart starts. Dang this white stuff in my lungs tonight. I haven't done a treatment today yet. You got 4 tumors in your brain? Dang it. I'm very lucky they didn't find anything, and they didn't find my brain either. But my CT scan came back good. So I'll be praying for you, brother. I don't know if there's anything I can do for you, but I got the prayers covered for you. But further down the road with the Shaman Journey, now, not everybody is in the same boat that I'm in as far as wanting to be a shaman, I guess, would be it. I mean, to walk a good spirit path should be everybody's journey. Now, how intense you wish to make it, do you wish to be a take it to the nth level of being a shaman, like, go in the woods and be a hermit for a while, and, or are you just going to lead a good life? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, some people are, become priests and nuns, and other folks are just normal people. So it doesn't mean that you must choose to be a shaman, the priest or whatever. Um, but all of this is relative to the spirit realm and where it leads us eventually. I mean, we're all going to be there. Um, whether we like it or not. So, how we get there, we can be grumpy along the way and be, um, well, come on down. We can be grumpy and bitter and hate the world, or we can just, take our lumps and do the best we can. 4 episodes of Star Trek. The last one was about magic. The original one, huh? So I do believe that there's magic in the universe for this reason. There are times when there is natural magic that I has helped me to survive some very strange and weird and life-threatening instances. And the only thing that I can tell you, like the 3 days in August several years ago that I got stuck on the river for almost 4 days with very little, well, there wasn't any food and very little water. And I came out of it shaking my head, going, I shouldn't have survived this. It was 102 in the shade. The rivers wasn't running. It was just so hot and nasty. It was true dog days down here. And the fact that I made it through those days, is just like, it's still unbelievable to me. But I understand that through the grace of God and the spirits down on the river and in the swamps, and my own spirit guides, and believing just in that, I do believe that if you are of the right mindset, that breathing could be everything that you needed, that we literally could breathe in all of the necessary things. Now, we'd still need to drink some water and stay hydrated, I believe. Um, it's difficult to go without water, let me tell you. Q. But so, as honoring, like talking about Star Trek, look at the Klingons, right? There is honor in death, and if you die a wimpy death, there's no honor. You're not going to go to Klaatu Niktu Borado, and you're not going to go to Valhalla if you're a Viking, because you did. Um, so is that a true honor? Is it honorable to die with your sword? I mean, but with that mindset, though, there's great honor in it. Like the ninjas and the samurais, and if you don't do right, you kill yourself. Stovacore, yeah. Did you see the most recent one where Q gets all messed up with Picard? I think because Q's dying or something. That's really weird how they brought this Q thing in Picard around. That's weird. Now, I have smoked this cigarette twice. This is my third time. But so, do we honor our elders by learning and taking the teachings that they gave us and bringing them forward into this time, right? So, for me, in my shaman journey, I'm to bring back what the elders discussed through the storytelling, through the native things, and through connecting with nature and staying connected with nature. Good to see you, Roman, and wish the best for you as well. Honest, it's good to see you. You too, Richard. I know I haven't done a 4 o'clock in the morning when a lot of other people are on, and so it's good to see you folks. Honestly, um, but I look at some families and things right now, and there's no honor in certain families, and even in my own. I won't discuss it because it might be too personal for some of my family members who may watch this. But I'm disappointed in that there are certain obligations that children, if they love their parents at all, should have, do, or otherwise. Now I've created my own situation in a lot of ways, in most ways, um, and one could say I'm suffering from those decisions I made 20, 30 years ago, um, and from stupid mistakes, and I'm paying for them now. And, I have to accept that that's the way it is. When you love somebody and you marry them, and then 2 or 3 years later, you find out that you hate each other, and you go, well, you can regret it, but to be honorable, it's best to just part ways. And but then there are folks who want to continue to be angry or mad, or you did this to me, or you were such a bitch or a bastard or whatever. And so is that honorable? And I would consider that, if you listen to your ego says, well, she treated me wrong. She threw pots and pans at me. She was the one that was wrong all the time. And that's not necessarily true. But ego wants to stand up for yourself and go, she was the one that was always wrong. Well, there were a few times if you got to be honest and truthful. And that's where being honorable to the self and to the balance of the shaman journey, the spirit journey, is that if you're not honest with yourself brutally and go, wait a minute, I started that argument. I pushed a button. And then what ensued, I actually created. And there's a little bit of ha 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 ha. I started this argument, blah, 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 and there is, that's not honorable to either person, spiritually or otherwise. To like bring up, well, you remember 2 years ago when you did such and such, and I'm still mad at you for that. And oh my God, you like the green Orion girls? I'm more partial to the blue, but that's my own opinion too. I don't know. There's something partial to the blue, the the blue girls. Never mind. And there is a blue race of aliens, by the way. Um, oh, I can't remember it now. I'll think of it. It was we've discussed this before. Michelle, you probably helped me out. It was the program with a couple of puppets, and it was the spaceship, and the spaceship was live, and Farscape, Farscape, um, and it was the blue girl in Farscape. Uh, Lovely lady, but there is actually a race of beings that are very closely that color. But anyway, as in the Alien Races book number one, by the way, um, so much for that cigarette I lit that just burned the rest of the way down. So have I quit smoking? No, but I have cut down a lot. So to honor myself and my elders, and to honor you all, because when I had my near death experience, it was like you can't stay. You got to come back. You got to stay around. And for whatever reason, folks need you, want you, and no, you can't go yet, Hawkeye. You got to come back. You got to stick around. So I'm good with that, right? As I've talked about it. But it is my observations of ego and honor and all these other things have changed drastically in that there's this other dimensional point of view that I'm experiencing in this last month that I'm still reflecting on and trying to get my head around. It's not bad, but it's like, holy crap. Um, Sometimes ego gets in the way of honoring yourself. And honoring yourself means taking care of yourself and doing the right things and not giving in. And where ego says, I can eat this chocolate pie, but I'm 350 pounds and maybe I shouldn't eat this chocolate pie. Because you're being dishonorable to the self, to your own spirit. You're being dishonorable to the creator because creator didn't make you to be 350 pounds and eat another chocolate pie. Okay. So this ego and honor is very closely related to who you are and who you become. And so I'm very glad that my ego uh, was smart enough to not be 250 pounds. Um, but at the same time, I was not honorable, really and truthfully, and just down showing up. I should have been taking blood pressure medicine. Um, but my stubbornness and ego quit taking it. It almost killed me. So, which is more important, to have that honorable self or to do this other thing or whatever? Um, but honor in the future. So, I want to still walk a good life, and I don't know what's ahead of me, but I want to make sure that my ego doesn't get in the way. But at the same time, if we don't use our ego, so I've been really quiet the last couple of weeks, haven't done many videos, and my ego is taking a break. It's 12:12. Ooh, it's almost time for a 20. Oh, the Andorian that Cuddy's. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I'm still on Central Time here. I'm on Eastern Time, not Eastern Daylight. I have refused for the last 3 years to set my clocks ahead or drop them back. So, I had to adjust my schedule to make it to the doctor on time. The appointment's at 3. Well, that means 2 o'clock. Wait a minute. That means 4. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Is that? Oh crap! I got to leave by 2:30 my time. No, it's 1:30 on my clock. Holy crap! I made it on time, but it is a little confusing for me you know, trying to adjust to the other folks' time. It's weird. Anyway, and I'm crazy. But there are folks who would carry the honor honor thing too far to the point that they would like commit Harry Carey or Harikari or kill themselves, like, nope, gonna follow my own blade. I dishonored the family. I'm not a good samurai, and there you go. So ego fits in there too, because ego says, well, I am a true samurai and I cannot see myself being less than. So I can't live with myself. It would be dishonorable, if I lived any longer because I have dishonored my clan, my beliefs, my this or that. Now I would say, okay, I'm glad that you've had that awareness. I'm glad that you woke up. But is like killing yourself the honorable way out? When maybe the honorable way out would be to understand your shortcomings and understand that maybe I why were you dishonorable as a samurai? Well, because the samurai code is like this, and I did this instead. Captain Harlock, space pirate. I would agree with you on that one, Richard. I love sci-fi. Speaking of time, does anyone set their digital clocks according to a sundial? Um, Joe, actually, my house is a sundial. And actually, since you brought it up, Elder Barry and I discussed this today. Because my house is a solar house and faces south and everything, um, I expect the sun to start shining on my floor in the fall this time of the year. Well, it's been cloudy the last 2 weeks. And so the sun has not been seen except through broken clouds. And I've not been able to make my observations. But yesterday and today it was sunny with just broken clouds, and I could see where the sun had moved into the house. Where normally, I'll see it outside and there's a shadow line and the sun will come in through the window. But I've got like this much space on the floor where the sun is now shining in the windows. I expected, but what I didn't expect was that it had moved so far without me realizing it. So it was sort of abrupt. And if y'all have been paying any attention to the moon's been really low in the sky, where it has been more consistently overhead. Now I haven't done a Earth wobble update in a while, but observations state that when I looked at the 3/4 moon tonight, it's almost full, couple of days. Um, is that I can see it through the window, so it's low in the sky. It's not very high. It's not high overhead. It's lower in the south. So we're coming into the fall of the year, which is I think either the 22nd or 23rd. It's just before my birthday on the 24th. Yeah, I'm gonna bring up my birthday. I just can't believe I'm 70 and that I've made it. Honestly, if you want to know the honest to God's truth, I am freaking amazed that I've made it to this and that my blood work and everything came back so well. But to the ego states that If I want to be a samurai, then I must live up to this code. And so that if you don't live up to the code, then you have been dishonorable to yourself and to the code and to the samurai. You follow me? And I'm sure you've seen enough. And and I really do like a good, sure enough, um, kung fu movie. you know, I've been on the, Joe, you've been on a Star Trek thing, and I've been on a thingy. Is it 20 yet? Oh, 1 minute. So by the time you see those, you said the sundial did the digital clock. No, but I'll tell you what, the sundial has been off. I've got a piece of poster board that I put in the window when the sun starts shining through the windows, and I can keep track of it and what time it is, supposedly. And there are days when the sun comes up on my sundial an hour early, or sometimes it's an hour late to the sundial. Okay. Which is creepy. And I've done videos in the past, in the years, if you look in my archives kind of thing, of me talking about it and the sun being early or late or whatever. And so, and that's when I started doing earth wobble videos because of my observations of my house being a sundial. Because the sun, when it comes up and it hits the window, the edges of the window, it casts a shadow just like a sundial does. And and so, but yeah, so my house is a sundial because of how I orientated it when I built it. Mm, that's quite enough. Cheers, everybody. So I'm back to drinking coffee again with rainwater. Oh, and it's good too. But I have to honor myself and make sure that I don't have too much caffeine. So the honor of people like teachers, some of these teachers are teaching some of the weirdest stuff in our public schools and so forth. The gay thing, and it's so it's all right to be a oh my God, it's okay to dress in drag. And some of these people, I was going to say God love them, but I don't know. They just act so strange. These great big fat men, ugly, who dress in drag and go to places and do these things. I would be mortified. And and they think they're honoring themselves, but their ego has gotten the best of them folk. And you say, well, what do you mean? Well, their ego has gone beyond being honorable. Because if they were being honorable to children, they wouldn't fucking dress. Oops, sorry. They wouldn't dress like that at a library and do these things. I don't care if you want to be a transvestite or whatever and dress in drag. That's your business. But it's dishonorable because of your ego. Your ego says, I can do what I want. I want to flaunt myself. Okay, fine. That's your right. but it's dishonorable to do it the way you do it. So there is this issue with honor. All right. Now, listen to this one. There are those people who say, well, those folks in drags, the transvestites, and them folk, we have to honor their beliefs. We have to honor their feelings. We have to honor their lifestyle. Because if we are honorable people, then we should be decent and at least give these people a chance. We'll see you, Richard. It's honestly good to see you. Thank you for your prayers and thank you for your kind thoughts. And it's keep up the good work, my brother. But this idea, though, that somehow, because these fruitcakes believe that, that they should be able to dress like this, and, that there was this one, I was watching The Blaze or somebody anyway, and they had went to a local community something with drag queens. And this one drag queen was going around and getting dollar bills from the children and people in the audience. Now that's just like, wait. So they weren't just flaunting it. I mean, so they were basically had a drag queen strip club where people were putting dollar bills. Oh, isn't this fun? And isn't this cool? And this is what you do. And oh my God, wait a minute. So that this is now acceptable. Not only are there drag queens, but now it's acceptable to give a drag queen and dollar bills in their wherevers, you know. So the ego of the people doing it says, I have the right to show myself and be who I am. Okay. But it's dishonorable to do it the way you do it. Oh my God. Are you serious? I mean, so I don't know if these people pretend to be spiritual or not. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it's a couple of Catholic priests who have decided to dress up that day and go to the library. I don't know. Um, yeah, God will get me for that one, right? um, they play dress up. Never mind. Stay off of that. So the ego says, I have the right to be who I am. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're true to yourself, to your spirit self, if you're in harmony with the universe, should you go dress up in drag and collect dollar bills at the local community event where there are children present and act that somehow that this is an honorable thing to do in public, you know, private. Okay. Hey, y'all, I'm having a drag party at the house. Y'all come and bring your dollar bills. Okay. But to do something in a public forum, not so much, maybe. So are these people giving honor to their ancestors, to their elders? Well, they can't, because their elders would never have allowed it. They would have went, oh no, no, you're crazy. No, you're not doing that in public. No, and we're not going to allow you to. Um, so years ago, when I was doing my puppet shows and traveling around to many libraries and social events, I made some of my puppets out of bones, and to show people how that you can find recycled things. And what were the first puppets or animals or whatever made by caveman? They found stuff around the cave, right, and pieces of bone. They put them together and dun 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 dun. So they made arms and legs and little figures. They did, hand puppets on the wall. They hand painted on the wall. They also did shadow puppets. You know, Imagine sitting around a fire and saying, being able to use your hands to make a bird, and that it was, became huge on the cave walls. And being able to quote perform those types of things. So, but this being able to be in drag, because ego says, I want to show myself off, I want to be who I am. But is it honorable? Personally, my answer is no. I think it's a disgrace and dishonorable to the ancestors, to our future. You know, what was it that for every person, that right now we can affect 5 generations to come because of our actions now. So these people who are doing, in my humble opinion, these dishonorable things because of their ego, um, they can affect 5 generations to come. Oh, holy crap. You know what I mean? Oh, holy crap. Like, we ain't got enough trouble right now with the last few generations. Me being a baby boomer, right? From the 50s, 60s, and all now in the 2000s and 2022, for God's sakes, 70 years I've been here. Holy carp. Um, it's surprising, but at the same time, my grandma died when she was 74. So I'm pushing up on Granny's age. I've made it past my own grandfather, Arno Knoll Sr., because he died at age 67 or 8. So I've already, made it past him. But the idea, though, that in the walk of life, I have coughed more today than I have in 2 weeks in any particular day. Don't know why. I haven't had a treatment today. Doc was like, wean myself off of those and get an inhaler for a once a day treatment. Anyway, um, and I keep coughing up this white stuff. I mean, it's literally white. It looks like inside of a marshmallow ish, and it has a funky taste to it. But so to the honor of our elders, there's so many things, like the politics and government. It's being dishonorable the way they're treating, Donald Trump. Whether you like him or not, it's dishonorable what they've been doing. Oh, dang. So, and telling the lies that they do, and, you know, President Biden saying anybody that, thinks MAGA, we're all now fascist and we're like Nazis and we're like, you got to watch out for us. And what? I want to make America great again. Ain't nothing damn wrong with that. But because I make that statement, I somehow fit into a category where now I'm a fascist. Well, I'm an old hippie, yeah, but I never thought I was going to be a fascist in my own. Dang it, man. My apologies. You would have swore I smoked a pack of cigarettes today, and that ain't true. I've had 6 cigarettes, I think, all day. But anyway, I am ready to light one and maybe cough up this stuff. A federal judge put a stop to the FBI document investigation. Me too, Michelle. I think everybody, and it's the reason that there's a sign at the top of my driveway, the Little Ochlockonee River Hermitage. And my intent has been for many years, the sign's been up there, that sometimes you need to be a hermit even for a couple of hours. A friend of mine showed up last week, just came down the driveway, and he was just like, I just need to come and vent. And I was like, come on in, brother, have a seat. And for the next hour and a half or so, he vented and we had talk and we had, you know, guy time if you want. And he got the load off his chest and went home. And so I'm glad to be of service. And I mean that honestly. Good friend. And sometimes you just need somebody to unload your troubles. Just somebody that you can vent to. And to not dishonor the family and to not let ego come in the family. In other words, to argue with your kids or your wife or brother or spouse or something. Ain't a wife your spouse, but anyway. But the idea though that sometimes it's best to go vent and then go back to whatever it is, you know, um, so that your ego doesn't dishonor you. Ego meaning I'm standing up for myself and you're going to listen to me, David, and blah, 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 blah. And you need to like, okay, calm down because both parties are being heated. Both egos are wanting to, stand up. So it's ego against ego, brother against sister, or brother against brother, or spouse against spouse, or whatever. And so you got to drop the ego. So there were some folks who was like, well, if you drop your ego and do you relinquish, are you dishonoring yourself? Like, let the other person, quote, win the argument, whatever the argument is. Now, sometimes if it's a big argument, you might need to stand your ground to the very end. And you need enough ego to hold your honor, like my one of my ex-wives. She embezzled money from me. She got a credit card and forged my name onto an application for an American Express card and then charged $2,500 on it when she left me. And had it for a year, had been using a shredder to shred mail from friends and neighbors and from bills that I did not know that she that I had an American Express card because she kept shredding the documents. So it's like, how do you trust someone like that? How do you like? Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Hang on. You'd have thought I'd have coughed up a lung by now with all this wet white stuff that's coming out of me. It's weird. But anyway, but the honorable thing to do was for me to stand my ground finally and go, no, I'm sorry. You know, I had lost my ego to stand up for myself, to be honorable to myself. And wait a minute, you had you got a credit card without my knowledge? You forged my name? Wait a minute. Hang on. No. I gotta you gotta draw the line, right? So you draw the line at whatever offense someone has made you, or there are people who go, well, why didn't you tell me? Well, we could have done something about it. Or no, hell no. You did what? You forged my name on a document when you asked me. She wanted an American Express card. And I was like, no, I've already got a Penny's card, or this card, or that card. No, no more credit cards. Now, I could afford it at the time, but it was still a no. I'd heard too many horror stories by people who used American Express in business and so forth. And I was like, no, I'm not, no, I'm not getting an American Express card. Maybe another one, but not an American Express card. And I was true and right about it. But to the point, though, she forged my name on an application. And because my credit was so good, because she was here when the mail ran, and she's my wife, I'm supposed to trust her. Here she is embezzling money and stuff from me, her husband, which she, man, hell, if I'm gonna cough, I'm gonna smoke a cigarette. But so the point to that though is that she was obviously her ego was, I want an American Express card and I'm going to get it regardless. She was obviously very dishonorable to me, and because of her own ego, she went beyond disgrace. And so when I finally confronted her, it was like, what? You lied to me, bitch. You know, and I was making about 30,000 a year, which ain't a lot, but when you don't have many bills and living down here without a house payment or anything, um, she had anything she wanted within reason, and our credit cards were up to the max. And um, hang on. So the idea, though, and she was supposed to be big into being a Native American and all this stuff. So, and being close to nature and hunting, and she was of Blackfoot descendants or something. And okay, and you could tell it in her. But this idea that somehow that because her ego wished it, it was okay. What? So there are people that you may know yourself, that their ego says, um, I am a god or a goddess. I haven't heard this one in a while, right? I am a god or a goddess, or both. Um, and I feel that I need this, want this, or I'm going to manifest this, whatever this is. And there are other people that look at you and go, but, wait a minute. Aren't you being a little egotistical? Aren't you being a little self-centered? And in the long run, aren't you being dishonorable? Hey, Katniss, how you doing? I could never imagine doing that to someone, married and hated the. Yeah, it is so wrong, you know. And there are people who just they convinced my ex convinced herself that she was right in what she was doing. That she had every right to forge my name because she wanted an American Express card. And because she thought I was making enough money, which I was, but that wasn't the point. We had enough credit cards. She had whatever she wanted. I don't know why Good night, Isby. Hope you do well. But this idea that, so there are people who get beat up all the time by their spouse, male or female. And in the case with mine, she was always beating me up in that she had to always be correct. She had to be right all the time. If we were playing cards or a board game, she had to win all the time. And she was like, would get very grumpy if she lost. And when she won, it was like, see how good I am. I beat you. I beat you. I just a crazy woman in that respect. But her ego was such that um, it's good to have ego enough to step out and say, she started a website for us, for the marionetters and for the puppets. But she put so much personal stuff on the website that people were like, I thought you were a professional performer. Then why are all these pictures of family on your home page? Where's the puppets at? Well, it's 2 or 3 pages, 2 or 3 clicks away. You have to click on the picture to go to the actual puppets. Oh, wait, what? What? Ain't that a little backwards? But to argue with her about that fact, but it's a business. The website's supposed to be the marionetters. I'm looking at getting a domain name and looking at doing this, but it's all family. But she's right and I'm wrong. Okay, you know. So ego, ego. It's all I'm right and you're wrong. Well, but she had enough ego to be able to make the website, to learn how to build a website, to learn how to do some coding. So ego as the driver, but her motivations or whatever, were very skewed. So it wasn't business orientated. Well, there was business in it, but no, there are pictures of our chickens on the front page, when you went to the main page. No, sorry about that. Put that on the second or third page, you know, new highlights, click here, follow the chickens and Henrietta and how many eggs she's produced and click here, But if you're talking about puppets, then don't you want to have the puppets on the front page? Don't you want to have shows and the subjects and the stories and like that? Nope, nope. It was about family and about the chickens and about that's all nice and good, but that should have been page two, you know. So, but ego, she was not honorable to the business that she was supposed to be helping me to create, the marionetters, the puppeteers. And in an odd way, she was really good, but she was a biatch to work with. But she was good. She had a talent, and what a shame. But some of her motives were just like destructive, and so ego got in her way because she always had to be the one that was shining. Now, I'm the storyteller and puppeteer, and was that before I met her. So, but after we met, it was like she had to be the star. Now, wait a minute. If I'm the storyteller and I'm the one that's doing all the voices, and I'm the one that's got two hands going, and I'm the one that's carrying the, how can you be, quote, the star of the show when you're only helping? Whoops. And that did not work for her. So she had to outshine me in any way that she could because of her ego. Which was dishonorable to her husband, was dishonorable to the business, dishonorable to the website and what our goals were. I mean, so because ego took over. And it was like, she had some really good ideas. I'm coming from the perspective that godhood means heavy responsibility, not a blank check free of it. There is no catch, Joe. The idea is just to do the best that you can. That's all. Well, have you done enough for your church today? Going to Catholic Church and the 10% tithe and those of you out there, now if you could do better and help a church out or whatever, okie dokie, but don't be stingy. Um, and maybe the heavy responsibility, Joe, and I agree with you on this, is the responsibility is just try to be a moral person. But the morals of society have changed to such that it's like hard to know what's moral anymore. And what is honorable. And honor has changed, to back in the 60s, there was still family honor and traditions and things, and then the families started breaking up and things and stuff, and so society has changed, and our obligations and the way we look at things, and that it's okay to have a couple of big old fat ugly men dress up in drag and go collect dollar bills from kids at a local you know event, as being like normal. Um, so the heavy responsibility is just trying to be a decent person, being honorable to the child or to the person that you're talking to. Um, there are times when, you know, for me, I've learned over the years because my voice is so strong, and I'm forceful when I'm talking about something, and um, like, now listen here, I think this is stupid, and people, listen to my tone of voice, and they hear an anger, strength, something in there, and it sets them off, right? So I've had to, change how I speak to people and how I've spoken to people in the past, and how simply because of my tone of voice, I have, irritated some folks, right? Not intending to, but just because of my voice patterns and so forth. But then when I realized that when I really needed to make a point across, that I would make sure that I was in control of my tone of voice. And like, all right, everybody, now listen, I think this is really important. Let's sit down and talk about this. And I don't mean to be condescending, but you need to sit down over there in a corner and hush and listen, um, and not jump to conclusions with something that I might say. Please listen, and with a calm voice. So where before I'd be like, "Nah, you better fucking listen to me, and I'm going to tell you, and sit down and shut your mouth." So tone of voice and how you approach it, and so being honorable to the people I needed to speak to. So if I speak to them in an honorable way and with respect, then they have a tendency to listen and pay attention to the point you're trying to get across. Even though I want to be forceful, I don't want to be too forceful. I want to make sure that they understand this is really freaking important, but without pissing them off. But sometimes you just got to piss some people off. There's just no way around that one. But because they are those atypical people, and you're going to piss them off no matter what you do. But ego has to step in and go, well, wait a minute now. I need to stand up for myself and go, hang on. No, you can't forge my name on documents and get away with it. But I am going to be honorable and not have your ass thrown in jail. Okay. I turned you into, uh, the folks at the bank that she had forged two checks for $2,000 and cleaned out my checking account. So all in all, she like ripped me off for over $5,000 in the course of a weekend. Uh, she went on a spending spree. But so anyway, so you stand up for yourself and say, no, I'm not paying for that. I did not sign for it. I did not do it. Sorry, but no. So the $2,000 on the American Express card, because I could prove it was not my signature. I could prove because of my signatures already at the bank that the two checks that she had forged were not my signature, and therefore I could not be held responsible for, married or not. Forgery is forgery. And so, I did not pay those bills because she took my JC Penney card and maxed it out. I had to pay for that one because she was allowed to use the card. Now I changed all the cards, but to my point of that though, ego says, wait a minute, nope, I got to swallow the JC Penney card, but I don't have to swallow that card and that one. No, the answer is no. So ego in standing up for your own rights, but also in understanding, arguing about the other cards. Yes, she did me wrong. Yes, she maxed them out, but no, because she was on them and we were still married. Truth is, honestly, I had to suck them up and pay for them, whether I liked it or not. So, to do the honorable thing because we were still married and she was still active on my cards. Now, as soon as I found out what she did, she was taken off and all that was changed. But in less than a 10 days time, she had racked up a bunch of stuff and had put me in some more serious debt. So, but ego says, I got to pay for that one because it is the honorable thing to do. But no, in my own honor, I'm not paying for these two because she forged my name and did a lousy job. And no, no, I'm not paying for those, which was almost 5 grand. So, with that said, there are times when ego should step up, and to be honorable to yourself, you need to say sorry. But then the honorable thing to do at the other times is that you have to let the ego go that says, I want to smack that bitch in the head for running up all my credit cards to the max. But that's part of the deal. And now you know, and now, and the divorce is next week. you know, okay, learn that lesson and get out. You know, this is the only thing you can do. It's the honorable thing. It's like cut it all off, man. No, you can't charge no more and cut the cards up. And then the honorable thing to do is to like pay the debts that you did incur, regardless of what happened, right? But ego says we're not doing this mess again. And no, I haven't been married since. So, you know, um, but that's just another personal example of the differences of what is honorable and what is dishonorable, and where do you want to draw the line. And sometimes the line is drawn for you. I don't know how else to put it, but that line's already there, and you can try to cross it or force it or whatever, and you're just going to end up beating yourself to death, trying to go against those forces. and and they can be intense, when certain things get into certain conditions. So, but as far as, how I was raised and how I saw my grandma Raleigh, Miss Mary, who I continuously talk about, right? How kind of a person she was, and how everybody loved Miss Mary, and they just loved Granny. And so, what else can you do in your life that is just? She was just a kind person. And there were lots of stuff that came along in her life, but she always looked at it as like, okay, you've made a mistake, um, but what are you going to do about it? How are you going to correct it? And are you really going to correct it? Can I trust you? And grandma was so kind that you didn't want to, if you made a mistake and she said, so what are you going to do about it? Well, so you shouldn't do wrong. You should correct it. So I didn't want to disappoint Granny. So I made sure there were a lot of other people I didn't care about whether they liked what I did or not. But I didn't want to disappoint Granny because she was so kind to me. And she helped me when my parents wouldn't, and somebody else wouldn't. And I could be in another state. Hey, Steve, how are you? I didn't want to disappoint Granny whether she saw what I was doing or not. I didn't want to dishonor my grandmother by whatever it was. And so, even long distance and in my own head, the honor and dishonor of certain people and whatever. But so these days, there's a lot of folks that have just zero honor at all. And it's sad It's sad. And and they put ego before honor in a lot of ways. And there are some folks, because of their ego, they have developed a certain self righteousness. Now, it's one thing that I myself have continued to battle with. Well, Dave, you're a shaman in training, and you've learned some things, and aren't you being a little self-righteous yourself and talking about these other people and their behaviors and how they're dishonorable? What about the dishonorable things I did in my early life? And I've made a few. I've tried to correct them, because I thought that was the honorable thing to do. In some circumstances, it just made the situation even worse. So sometimes you have to learn what is honorable or not by trial and error. Uh, what you think is honorable may actually just make a situation worse. Just saying. But if you don't try and if you just leave it because ego says, well, otherwise, I have some difficulty speaking every now and then since this body is crippled. No, oh, I did get some of the money back, Joe. Actually, I got money back from the bank. Um, and because my American Express still wants me to pay it, but because they had to send me a signature page, and I sent them the documents from my bank from where she had forged two checks out of my bank account. We had a joint account, but there was $500 in it most of the time. But she had spent all that, and out of my personal account, she forged two checks, and it was horrible. How they got cashed, I just slipping through, and that was that. But 2 grand just out of my checking account like that. Um, and it was my account, not a joint account. So she had no business there. So they had to replace it. Now I don't know if she ever went to jail over it, but I told him where she had moved and gave sort of a forwarding address, and that she needed to go to jail for that kind of thing, but because she moved out of state and was not in any local jurisdiction, it was difficult. But so I did get the 2 grand back, and I never paid American Express because I never applied. So whatever signature they had was not mine. So I was absolutely not responsible for that $2,500 that she charged up within like 3 or 4 days. It was nuts. She spent like $700 at a shoe store. I mean, the I just it was nuts. But anyway, but there is honor within people, and it's like um, I've talked about this before, and I've been trying to stay clear of the subject because it's been a touchy subject about whether or not what do I do with my property, and that I would like to be able to do what I thought was the honorable thing, was to like leave it to my grandchildren. But whether or not that's actually the honorable thing to do or the practical thing to do, or my ego has said, no, this is how it's going to be. And in my mind, I have now since like changed a lot of my opinion in that, wait a minute, Is this the honorable thing to do for the property? Is it the honorable thing to do for me and my true wishes? Is it actually do I dishonor someone by saying, "Here, I want you to have this," when they might not freaking want it? And so there's honor and ego and stuff that has like changed direction. And, like, wait a minute, let me reevaluate this when I thought I had it figured out. And so it's like, And then there's the law. So, what my intentions were and what the law will allow, there's a whole nother ballyhoo wiggy thingy going on there. So, my ego might want this in a particular grandiose way when practicality and so forth and honor of things, the answer is different. So I'm in the different answer category at the moment with things, but still on a more firm and settled route. But somebody else looking in might go, "Well, you're not being honorable to such and such." What? Well, what about this? You're not being honorable to them. What I have? What? They don't care. They don't want it. They're not participating. Wait, my ego wanted these things. Practicality says otherwise, and to honor the property and myself and what I see for the future for the property and so forth. Um, Wait a minute. So do I drop my ego to allow someone else's ego to come in and take over the situation? Oh, but it should be like this because you should honor them. Well, but they ain't honored me. So isn't honor supposed to be like two-way street? Ain't there supposed to be like mutual respect and some stuff? So you want me to do all the honoring, but there ain't no honor in my direction. Well, but wait a minute. To be honorable, shouldn't there be like respect to get my honor? Shouldn't you earn my respect? And um, simply because you know me doesn't necessarily mean that I should give you honor and everything. And here, take my car, take my house, take my wife. Well, you can have her, but um, in that, so what's being honorable? It's the other person's opinion of what they think about relationships and how I'd set boundaries, one of which is separate private bank and one shared account. He said, I don't have, oh, dude, Joe, I have my own personal account and we had a joint account. She quit working. And so since she didn't earn any income, we had our shared account for the bills and the house and so forth. But what I earned was my money. And I shared it, bought things, paid other bills, but no. So I absolutely agree in separate personal accounts and a joint account. I absolutely believe in that. I just do, you know. But it's our money. No, you've been sitting on your ass at the house. It's my money. I choose to share it with you. I'm paying all the bills. You don't have to worry about it. I'm putting $300 or $400 into an account every month, simply for us to share. You can buy whatever you need. I'm just asking for a receipt. There was money that came out of our joint account that it was like, what is this for? Where did it go? What did you buy? Well, it's just, but here's the receipt. Yeah, it said, you know, she cashed a check somewhere for $100. Okay, but why did you cash it? Where did you cash it? And what did you use that $100 on? Because I've paid for chicken feed, I've paid for the house, I paid for all. Where did you spend $100 on? What? Well, can't I spend $100? Yeah, but if I spent $100, you'd be asking me for the receipt and what the I spent it on. Where is it? I'm asking you, where did that $100 go? That's all. You spent it. There's a check. What did it go for? Well, it was my money. Okay. So what'd you spend it on? Well, I spent it on something. Well, okay. But what'd you spend it on? Ain't that a legitimate? Can't you answer this? Is it you spent $100 on? You spend $20. Okay. You went to the store, bought a couple of drinks or this or that. You spent $20. I ain't asking. But you just cashed a check for $100 and you can't tell me what you spent it on. Do you have change? Do you have like $50 in your pocket? Did you want to have some going around money? I understand that. But in that particular instance, with the money situation or whatever, her ego said, I don't have to tell you where I spent that $100 and why I cashed that check. It was in our joint account and I can spend it. Okay. But isn't it honorable, a fair question to be able to say, so what'd you use it for? I'm just saying. I mean, it was $100, and I'm sorry, I'm not that rich that $100 don't make a difference. And so, ain't it honorable to drop your ego to give me some kind of an answer? Make something up. But no answer was what I got. So, in the honor of things, I question. Oh, we got 4 minutes to go. Woo! 3 trees, 3 feet across. Holy crap. Well, Joe, she might have felt guilty. It wasn't her personality to feel guilty. I don't think in that. I think she was giving it to someone and she wouldn't tell me who. She was that $100. Well, what'd you do? She could have been honest and said, I gave it to a friend in need. And I'd have went, okay. But to be, it's none of your business why I got that $100. Now, at the course of 6 months, when there's 150, another $75 missing every month over the course of several months, I wasn't that rich to just be able to go, wait a minute, where's this freaking money going? What are you using it for? There's chickens, there's this. We're trying to run a small farm down here. We got 19 chickens and we're producing, 2, 3 dozen eggs a day with what we've, um, yeah, well, about a dozen and a half of eggs a day, but almost 2 dozen at the peak. But the idea of wait a minute, we are on a limited budget because I'm buying fencing and putting up more area for more chickens and the support and all that kind of thing, right? And for our garden and fencing and posts, and that costs money. So the money that was being raised by the chickens or whatever was not covering the feed and the cost of new fencing and new areas and that kind of thing. So the idea that that 150 to $200 was just sort of disappearing every month. Um, Wait a minute, right? But anyway, enough of that. But we're coming up on a 20 mark, so cheers. Mm. I've been doing a lot of wheezing lately. I haven't coughed this much in a week. I swear to goodness. I mean, like all week. Get it out of my lungs so I can breathe like a dolphin. But anyway, so some of the things that used to be family values that were honorable things to do, because family traditions and values and so forth have changed so drastically because of society and of the mores and morals of people these days. It's okay to have drag queen shows that in the community. Okay. Um, it's okay to teach children for little children to go give men who dress up like women dollar bills in their shirts or underwear. And when our morals and mores change that drastically, the idea of what honor is has morphed into something else. And I honestly can't tell you what it's morphing into, but the idea of, well, we have to honor this person's feelings because they're a drag queen and that's who they are. That's who they, okay, fine. But is it less honorable to allow them to be who they are in public? Really? The idea that I have the right to take my clothes off anytime I want to. Okay, that's your right, but it's indecent exposure if you do it in town and around a bunch of people. I mean, but if you do it at home or in your own backyard or okay, you do have the right. But if you do it in public and you get arrested for indecent exposure, well, you still have the right to take your clothes off if you want to. But it doesn't mean that it's morally correct or, from a societal point of view, right? I mean, it'd be like allowing Jeffrey Dahmer to open a snack shack on the corner selling hamburgers, you know? Um, if y'all know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, right? You know. somebody made a remark and something I was listening to, and they was like they used a certain circumstance like that, like, oh yeah, it'd be like giving Jeffrey Dahmer a license to run a restaurant, you know. Or Jimmy Savile to, start an orphanage. Yeah, that last one might have been a stretch. But so anyway, Jeffrey Dahmer just knocked. We didn't talk this last weekend. Oh, it's okay, Steve. I made it through. Oh, Steve, I got my test back. My blood work up and everything. I went to the doctor. It's now Tuesday, yesterday. And my cholesterol and everything, it was like, it couldn't have been any better. I mean, it literally couldn't have been any better. And so this thing that, not knowing what caused the initial heart attack, other than me coughing for 2 weeks in 2 days in a row, and being sick and so forth. But anyway, um, but my blood pressure, I've been keeping a log with it, and I took it in and shared it with the doctor. And it is definitely down and much more stable. So, all good news. I've got 3 more tests to do. They're going to still do a proctology thingy and check my prostate and all, because it's time for that to happen again, especially at my age. And I just need to keep up with my meds and learn how to deal with this. So that's where we at with that. But I wanted to call and tell you personally. But since you're here at the moment, just to let you know that um, oh, if you're feeling guilty about it, Joe, about the video game thing, it scrolled out. Steve needs a chainsaw. Would it be enough though? Yeah, I got a 16-inch brand new chainsaw that is going to be used very soon, but I don't know if it'd be enough to get through. That's only 32 inches, so I'd be cutting it up into sections and blocks and doing whatever. But yep, it's 2:27 a.m. Well, this is what I got to say about the video games, Joe. If you're feeling guilty, you need to explore that. Because if you're feeling guilty, maybe there's an underlying reason you're feeling guilty. Like maybe you're wasting time that you could do something else. Because many years ago, when the video craze first came out, I was spending money I didn't have at the video arcade place. Okay. I mean, I was really poor, and spending $20 a week at the video arcade was like, it was not in my budget. So I felt guilty. And in subsequent times, I have played video games in the earlier days, and what I felt guilty about when I really got down to it was that I played this game, and I still feel this way in that it's okay to play a game once in a while, but to I've got family members who won't let go of the damn controllers, and it's like, put the sumbitch down. Oh, I'm okay. I'm listening. And no, you're not. You're playing this. Your mind, you've got a split personality because, and it's the wasted time when I could have been reading a book or researching, or I could have done something else. But the playing of the game, and the fact that I spent money on the earlier games, and I spent good bucks on the earlier video games that the computers were too slow to run. And now, you can play games online and stuff. But the idea, though, so I had to look at why I felt guilty. Yeah, I had the money and I could budget it, and I wasn't taken away from food or house payments, but I was spending, 20, 30 bucks every 2 or 3 weeks at the video store on the new games, on the new software, and I justified it because I'm a nerd and I'm an engineer, and I use computers and I want to keep up with stuff. And that was true up to a point, but it cost me buku bucks in the long run. And I still have discs of software upstairs that ain't doing a lick of good, but I paid $200 for this disc for the information that was on it that was good for that brief period of time window for 2 or maybe 3 years. Now it's obsolete. I have a bona fide copy of Windows 2000. And if a computer ever goes down, I can load it on because it was one of the most stable platforms that that has been put out there. but but it's up to the individual. Me, I just simply to play a game of solitaire or something like that, or mahjong. But these other games that some folks are into that they can't put their damn cell phones down for, building a farm and stuff like that, I'm just like, are you people serious? What are you? Don't you see? But I'm bored. Well, get a book. Do something else. But just constantly looking at the screen and playing. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I think it's foolish, personally. So, oh, yeah, I got a bunch of trees too, Steve, but I don't think it's 100. You going live, Delaney, and I'm fixing to shut up. I'm using part of Social Security benefits on them. Oh, holy cow, Joe! You need to put some of that money in the bank. I'm just saying, put it under your chair. Put it in, they're those close to me know I got a space that I got money, stuck somewhere. You know, look under the thingy. There's some money there. Because if you're in Social Security like me, Yeah, but Stevie's spending 20% of his income. That's a good bit of income. I'm just saying. And I'm only bringing this up because you brought it up. It's the guilty part. If if you were just fine with it and didn't feel guilty, I'd be like, okay. But when guilt shows up, then there's an underlying something within you. And so I would, it's always up to you, right? It's just like, and oh, you got to be brutally honest. Why am I spending, why am I got this game? Why do I feel I need this game? Why do I feel I have to? No, it's up to you. If you just want to keep going with what you're doing, it's fine by me. But if you're feeling guilty, I would ask you to question yourself and say, okay, why am I feeling guilty over this? And should I look into why I'm feeling guilty? If you paid all your bills and you're comfortable with the money you spent, but wait a minute, maybe that you feel guilty because you're not saving 20% of your income for some kind of future thing. So I would just personally, since you brought it up, why am I feeling guilty? And just look, do some cogitation on that, because you feel guilty. I mean, anyway. I used to have that much saved up too, Steve. I mean Joe. But I paid for my truck to get fixed, and I paid for a couple other things, and I bought a couple of tools that hopefully I'm going to be able to use. Um, so when I spend money, I have to make sure that it's at least going to profit me somehow down the line, meaning that if I spend 25 bucks on a pizza, that's going to benefit me for the next 2 days because I got something to eat. But if I buy a tool, now that's going to benefit me until I pass away or the tool breaks but to buy a tool, and if I spend $100 on a this or a that or a new saw blade or something like that, I can justify that. Yeah, but you spent $30 on a saw blade. Yeah, but I needed a good finishing blade, you know? Well, what about this? Well, I'm trying to do some woodworking and I needed a new carbide cutter for my um, 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 router head. Well, did you have to have it? No, but it was really nice and they were on sale. So it's like, but you bought another damn tool? Yeah, but I still have the tool and I can use the tool anytime I want to use the tool. You know what I mean? So there, so video games or something is like, I have a bunch of discs upstairs that I spent good money on and they won't even play in the new machines. They're too slow. The thing doesn't work. And, I spent 50, 60, $70 on some of these games back in the day. And now no, none of them will work because the code's different. So that was money, quote, well, I still have the game. Yeah, but it won't run. Oh, so, but it's up to us. So, but the feeling guilty. I spent $150 last month on a tool. Well, should you have spent that much money? Well, I'm going to feel guilty for a minute or two, but I still have the tool. It's still in my possession. It's paid for. If I had to sell it, I could. Maybe even return it to the store for my money back or at least a credit, but I have the tool. So it's to my benefit. It's an investment. But there are other things that people spend money on that, what are you investing in? A friend of mine who he plays a lot of online games. I mean, like real life shoot 'em up. You know, two or three people are on a team at the same time, live. You know, playing these games, and but he's paying buku bucks for the his cell phone that's big enough for him to play the game, for the bandwidth that he needs, and for the data that he's using, and his phone bill is atrocious. But he has it because he wants to play the game on his cell phone. It's not that he needs to play the game on his cell phone. So he pays an extra $100 or so a month for extra data speed so he can play these live games with his buddies on their cell phones. Okay, but I don't see the purpose in that. So you mean your monthly bill would could be cut by a third if you just quit playing the games online? Well, yeah. Then what are you bitching for? Quit playing them online. You know. I put 30% back for a rainy day, but I also put about 30% back for fun things. Yeah. Well, here's what we used to do in the carnival, and we called it HO money, and HO meant holdout. So, say you brought in $250 on a Tuesday night at the carnival. So, you have to report how much you make every night to the office. All right. And you make a ticket out and you take your what you and because whatever the office, they get their take. So if you made $100 and they get 15%, then out of that $100 they get 15 bucks. That's for lot price, and for that's the agreement. So sometimes it's 20 or 30%. So if you only make $100, then $30 is going straight to the office, right, for their cut. So, but the HO was holdout. So you made $100, but you only reported 90. So $10 was your holdout. You held it out from yourself, you held it out from the office, you held it out, period. And it went in a can or a jar or a drawer or someplace. But you held it out. And but the HO money was sometimes if you blew a tire on a weekend, on when you were heading to the next spot. And you had to get, and back in the day, it was difficult to get in touch with somebody on a weekend, but that you had to spend money on a tire on a Sunday in Alabama, and it cost for a tow truck and to this and to that. And where'd that money come from? Well, it came out of HO money because it was something that was happened right away, and you needed the money, and it was unexpected, and but that was money that you had for anything that happened. Well, at the end of the season, my mom and pops, they had in their HO money, they had enough money to go on a cruise for a week or 10 days, They had enough money to take a trip or to go do something, because the carnival didn't run all year round, so they, got to get unemployment for a couple of months. But because the HO money wasn't reported anywhere, they didn't write it down. They had a little black book in a can that said how much money was in there. And if they needed $20 or $100, they subtracted it. But as far as Social Security or income tax or anything, or the office knowing, no, it was straight off the books. So, but the HO money came in really handy, just in general. So, being an old carny, I have HO money. So I take money out of my bank account and it's here in the house somewhere. So if I need cash or whatever, I've got it. And it's not so much that I'm afraid of banks because most of my money is still in the bank. Um, since we just got our checks, I don't know, I probably got $700 in my account because I just spent 100 at the store today, and I spent $80 on dog food and cat food and stuff um, the other day when I was in town. So out of $1,000 a month on my check, 100 here, 100 there, and I got to pay this and that. So I'm down to about $700 already off my $1,000 check. Now I'm sitting easy. I got enough food that I will last me, other than an odd or an end here, for the next 10 days or so. So I'm good in that respect. But as far as having lots of money in the bank, no, I don't. And with the cost of things rising up and so forth, thank God gas is coming down. Uh, you know, that's a good thing. But Carson City $50. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I had a at one time I had a computer that was set up just for gaming and my AutoCAD and 3D work. Um, but I'm not doing any 3D work anymore. But I'm seriously thinking about getting back into doing 3D work again. Uh, it's become a lot easier. The computers are faster. Uh, you know, and working in Blender and some of these other programs. Um, I need another outlet since I can't go outside and do all the stuff I'd really like to. I need to spend my indoor time on things I used to do, like working on 3D animation and stuff like that. And I quit all that. And I would like to go back to it. So, but anyway, I've been here for 2 hours and 23 minutes, and I'm trying to gain my stamina back. And we got how many minutes? Oh, it's 2:47 a.m. So um, I'm gonna say it's been nice hanging out with y'all. It's good to see you, Joe. It's good to see you, Steve, and it's always good to see Michelle and all you other renegades that are in the background back there. Miss Pearl, if you're still back there, and Chloe and Barry, he's probably fallen asleep by now, which is okay. And I need to take my go to bed medicine and um, go let the dog out and check the stars and the moon and take my good night medicine. So it's 1:44. Yep. It's good that y'all hang out, honestly. So, but with this honor, to wrap up honor and ego, For the shaman, it is honorable to make sure that he honors all things. Okay. I mean, a blade of grass, a rock, there is honor in all things because the creator is in all things. But then the ego has to be strong enough to say, I am part of the universe, but I am not a god of the universe to where my will is the only thing that needs to be, you know, it's my will or nothing at all. I am a god or a goddess, and I'm going to create and manifest and hang on, children. You're not really a god or goddess. You're part of the system. And why do you want to create that? And why do you want to do that? And isn't that egotistical? Isn't your ego getting a little out of hand because you feel that you have to be a god or goddess in order? Can't you just be a good person? Isn't that good enough? It's not great enough. We have to be gods and goddesses. Okay. And we have to manifest things. Okay. But is our ego in the way? And are we being honorable to ourselves and to the universe, to the simple things, that all things are not necessarily created equal, but all things have an equal right to be here and to be, I don't like mosquitoes, but they got a right to be here. I can wear, things to repel them and smack them and pour out water when I see wiggle tails and kill their little asses before they hatch and fly. Um, so, there's control over things, but, am I a god over this property? Oh, hell no. Am I, um, but if I want to go dig a hole somewhere, I go dig a hole. Now, that's being free reign over my property over this, or, so, but does that make me a god or a goddess? That if I want to go dig a hole over there, I can without having to ask permission, or you know what I mean? So there is this ego thing, and there is this I have the right to do these things because it's my property, or it's my house, or it's my whatever. Um, you know, But digging a hole out there in the yard, I might trip and fall in it and hurt myself. But does it change anything in the universe? No. Have I dishonored anything? Well, maybe the earth because I dug a hole, and why did I dig it? And just because I could dig a hole, and just because, I mean, that's being a little egotistical. So in the shaman realm of things, the balance is looking at things and going, well, I have the right, or, it's my property, I can do, but should I? Is it morally or is it just spiritually right? You know? So anyway, I love you all. It's been good to hang out with you. I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. And in that law of three, which I'm going to cut short right now because I got to run, literally run. And I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe. Y'all stay safe and stay healthy. I literally got to run.